like those bubblegum girls in her stadium-sized classes at the University of Houston, taking consumer science and merchandising, their hair tucked back through designer baseball caps, wearing snug-fitting sweatpants and immaculate lip gloss. Who were they trying to kid? Stupid girls, Crystal thought. Stupid Guam. This isn't a day off. She was confident that Commander Kubis appreciated her attention, her smart questions and well-timed nods. And surely her flattering and respectful attire, a sleeveless black silk blouse, professionally pressed khaki capris, tasteful gold hoop earrings, makeup applied with a light touch, hair straightened and tied back. He must be secretly pulling for her, hoping she'd bring the crown home. She was an American, after all, and this was an American military vessel. She felt a small but noteworthy swelling of pride. When he looked in her eyes, she flashed her teeth. They had been aboard the Mercy, docked in the Nha Trang harbor in southeastern Vietnam for 35 minutes. The 5 contestants were on a tour of the colossal ship to showcase the altruistic commitments of the Miss Universe competition, a taste of things to come for the winner, who would be obliged to be an ambassador of goodwill and human rights around the world. They had been informed earlier, in a droning summary by a considerably less charismatic shipmate, that the Mercy was acting on behalf of Operation Smile, part of Pacific Partnership 2008, a 4-month humanitarian deployment involving a host of nations, staffed by both military personnel and civilian NGOs. "We have a total of 1,000 beds," Kubis said, emphasizing the point with sharp karate-like chops of his hands. "That's our total patient capacity, 1,000 beds. Our wards are ranked by severity of need and degree of care. We go by intensive, recovery, intermediate, light, and limited. This room here, this is intensive." Crystal watched the other girls gaze blankly over the sky-blue sheets spread taut over the reclining surgical beds. There was a surprising amount of clutter for an OR: cords and wiring, wheeled workstations, fire extinguishers, and arcane naval gadgets that simultaneously fascinated and frightened her. It was strange, too, that in sections the floor was dark and carpeted. What about spilled fluids? It felt as though she wasn't on a ship at all, but shuffling along the glossy floors of some giant metropolitan hospital, complete with swinging double doors, lofty ceilings, passing gurneys, even elevators. Descriptions of GE turbines, maximum speeds, information from the National Steel and Shipbuilding Company, basic dimensional summaries. Such tedious detail was straining her concentration, making her wary of possible questions or quizzes. All that specialized naval jargon, the raised forecastle, the transom stem, the bulbous bow, the extended deckhouse with its forward bridge, made her long for a cool shower, the clean white linens of her 4-star Diamond Bay Resort hotel room, and the guided meditation tapes she'd forced herself to listen to, if only to calm her nerves. In any case, soon they'd get to the more intimidating stuff. The burn ward, casualty reception, the morgue, which she hoped they'd pretty much skip. "The Mercy is basically a mobile surgical hospital," Kubis continued, his smile widening. "If we were engaged in battle, we'd be providing medical and surgical support to our Marines and Air Force units. These days, we lend a hand in humanitarian and disaster relief. We're still busy, even in peacetime." It was a hokey, generous smile. Commander Kubis exuded a sort of calm and trustworthy radiance. Obviously a projection of his personality type, she noted. From what she could tell, he was a fine example of her personal philosophy. The alliterative principles of persistence, patience, and perseverance. And simply by repeating these 3 words, Crystal was able to conjure all the familiar comforts of home, sitting in the backyard of her parents' modest bungalow in Missouri City, listening to the dry winds rattle the high wooden fence and the cicadas sound their motorized whine, a tall glass of iced tea or lemonade sitting nearby on the arm of her deck chair. No thoughts of outfits or makeup or rehearsed responses, simply family time.